Coach, how did the team come out of the Carolina game where you didn't get the result you wanted, but it looked like you bounced back well in the second half?
Well, I think that we'd done what we'd done in some other games this year, and maybe in that with quite the deficit that we had at 13-4, but fought back and unfortunately fell a little short. But they say if you're going to lose an ACC tournament game, it ought to be the first one, so you can go home and rest, because we definitely go after one another out there. But I thought the guys responded pretty well. We would obviously like to have gotten the W and gone on to play Notre Dame in the championship game. But now we've had half a week to get ready and talk about Colgate and focus on our next game.
Yourself named ACC Coach of the Year earlier this week. Sergio named Offensive Player of the Year. What do you think that says about what the other coaches in the league think about you guys?
Well, since you're voted for by the other coaches, I'm a little bit humbled by that. Because they've all had, in their own right, a pretty good year. But I've got a great assistant coaches, a great staff here at Syracuse that help us look good, and the team's really responded well this year. So maybe all those factors come into play.
Colgate, they've struggled this year, but they always kind of play it tough down there in Hamilton. What is the tricky part about going there?
Well, it's nice to have the ACC tournament 2 weeks before the NCAAs. And to have a game in between the two, I think is important. Some teams haven't had great success when they have 2 weeks off, so I think it's important to have a game in between. And Colgate, with the season they've had, a win over Syracuse will help make their season and send their seniors home on a good note. So we're always going down there prepared to see a very good game out of these guys, knowing that they want to finish well in their last game of the year.
As far as the way you guys, obviously it was the early hole against North Carolina, was blinding that right there.
Yeah.
But the way you were able to rally and almost pull that thing out, I know it's obviously not the outcome you wanted, but is that a positive sign to be able to take into this weekend and beyond?
Well, it's hard to take losses, but I guess if you're going to get something positive, I don't think there are a lot of teams that are down 13-4 think they really have a good chance of coming out and winning the game in the second half. But our guys thought they did, and my assistant coaches thought we did, and did a great job in the locker room at halftime, making some corrections and staying focused on what it was going to take to come out and play well in the second half. And I think the guys responded.
With Selection Sunday approaching, do you feel good about where this team is, and do you feel like you put yourselves in good position heading into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think so. There are only a couple other teams that have just 2 losses on the year, and our seniors have been pretty focused. But I think we can still improve. I don't know that we've played really 60 minutes of lacrosse all year long. I think the closest we've done that probably was in the Notre Dame game out there at South Bend. But I think that we can, put together, still put together 4 quarters, which we haven't done. I mean, it's great that we've come out with these 1-goal wins and we've been able to come from behind. But we've been stressing with the guys all week long. We want to play 60 minutes going down the stretch here.
Can the timing of the loss at least help from the perspective of going into the biggest games of the year? Not that the guys didn't think they were beatable, but certainly it reminds them at an important time that you got to do this to get the job done.
Well, I think if we're going to get something positive out of the loss, I think if you have losses really early in the year or a loss early in the year, and you've won since then, I think you've responded to that loss. We're now having one this time of year, especially when we came back the way we did. It causes us to raise our eyebrows and say, hey, we've got to play for that 60 minutes, or we can lose. And so I think it's challenged us and maybe a helpful going down the stretch.
Obviously, switching gears a little bit, but just yesterday, Mike Massera announced that he's going to be retiring. Just obviously, West Jenny, a lot of scouting there. What has he meant as a coach, do you think, in Central New York?
Well, he's had so much success, and I think a lot of programs have always watched what he's done at West Tennessee High School from a youth level and going back to the days of Shove Park. I think one of the first guys to really organize all the levels underneath him and kind of teach the other coaches that he's had working with the younger guys his fundamentals and the discipline part of the game. I think everybody's respected the program for so long and what he's done there. That it's been an incredible run.
Do you feel you bring parts of his game, his coaching ability, to your coaching career? And if so, what?
Well, I think throughout the staff, Coach Donahue had been out at West Tennessee Middle School and had seen the coaching out there, worked at Shove Park for a number of years. with Coach Masser at the youth level, and got to see a lot of his drills. And myself bringing my own kids over there, I got to see some of the things that we were doing. So yeah, I think there's a piece of what we do here at Syracuse University that we've gathered some techniques and some coaching styles from Coach Masser.
Is there a consistent thing about West Ending players that you've noticed over the years you brought here that he's instilled, this, and this?
Most definitely. I think that the fact that when we get a West Tennessee player, he's usually extremely skilled. Fundamentally very sound. Has the ability to use both hands most times, the left hand and the right hand, and doing some similar things that we do at Syracuse that we've seen out of West Tennessee. The guys just come in with a high skill level, doing some similar things drill-wise. That I think they tend to fit right in and kind of. I think anytime we get a player from there, they're a little bit ahead of the game as far as what we're trying to teach them.